The still life, a study of objects. What is a still life? A still life is a work of art that depicts inanimate subject matter that is typically natural or man-made. Common objects included in still lifes are food, flowers, rocks, shells, plants, drinking glasses, vases, jewelry, and coins. This here is an example of one of the very first recorded still lifes. It was painted during the Roman Empire. It's a Roman wall painting in Pompeii around 70 AD in Naples, Italy. Still lifes were originally considered practice and not a recognized art genre. This is one of the second earliest recorded forms of a still life. This is an illuminated book of hours for Engelbert of Nassau. It was created during the Middle Ages when illuminated manuscripts were really popular. Still lifes really came into being a recognized art genre with the Dutch and Flemish artists. This particular example here is called Still Life with Musical Instruments by Peter Claus. He was a Dutch artist. During the postmodern era in America and Europe, many artists, especially those who were experimenting with Cubism, such as the father of Cubism along with Pablo Picasso, George Braque, created this particular painting of a violin and candlestick still life. If you look closely amongst all the geometric shapes, you can make out the violin and the candlestick. This is considered postmodern art. Today, contemporary artists create most art forms on the computer or with mixed media art materials. This particular still life that you see here is a completely synthetic, computer-generated still life. None of these objects were set up in front of the artist while he or she drew them on the computer. These objects were literally created and manufactured digitally on a computer and arranged that way in a computer program. So why are still life drawings important? Practice makes perfect. I'm sure you've heard that before. Arranging and depicting a group of objects enables an artist to explore a variety of skills. Practicing and studying line, even the simplest drawings, is not just an exercise for beginners. Master artists repeatedly return to still life drawing to further develop their eye and hand and their understanding of composition. Just like with a sport, such as football, basketball, cheer, dance, band, whatever you choose to do, you have to practice. Drawing takes time and you must practice. Still lifes are a good way to practice your drawing skills. So let's get started. How do you arrange a still life? Take a look at the still life here on the screen. First, you are going to choose two objects from the still life cart beside Mrs. Kaiser's desk. You may pause this video now to go do that. Second, you're going to place the objects in front of you at least 1 foot away. Then choose one object from the baskets on your table to add to the two objects from the cart. And then last, you'll place the three objects in an arrangement where they overlap each other, similar to the still life arrangement you see here. Do not line them up neatly side by side. Pause the video and take time to arrange your objects now. So where do you start drawing? First, look at your still life arrangement and begin to contour the object that is not being overlapped by any other objects first, such as the apple here. Second, pay close attention to where the objects behind that object begin to be overlapped by it. This is where you will start drawing your second object. Notice how the apple slightly overlaps the container here with a lid. Then finally, contour draw your third object, which should be the one furthest away from your point of view, such as the box here. Do not draw the still life that you see here on the screen. Keep in mind that this is only an example that I have used to show you how you should set up your still life and how you should go about beginning your still life drawing. You should draw the objects that you actually set up in front of you. Here's a progression example of how I began and ended the drawing of the picture that you see. First, I drew the apple because it was closest to me and not being overlapped. Then I added the container with the lid. Next, I added the box in the background, and I made sure to draw the reflections and the shadows that have been cast on all the objects. And then finally, I took a black felt tip pen and I outlined all my contour lines. As you begin to draw your still life that's set in front of you, you will do the same. Contour each object in the order that you should draw them in. Make sure you draw the reflections and the cast shadows. And then the last thing you will do is add a felt tip pen over the top of your contour lines. If you do not have a felt tip pen, you may use a Sharpie marker.